Alright guys, so yesterday I posted a video on the boss hunt going over the general guideline as well as the teams that you guys are possibly able to use for difficulty F all the way up to D. In this video, I want to go over every single one of them for difficulty C from C1 all the way up to C7 and talk about the teams that you guys might possibly be able to use for certain bosses like this one and the tactics and things like that. So currently I'm on HyRool's account because the other account that I use had a really high promotion, and this account for HyRool is mainly free to play except for the $100 that I spent way back when I was doing a celebration for the our YouTube channel. But I wanted to let you guys know before I get started, if you guys are in stage F, E, D as well as C, the bonds here are not super strong, and I'll recommend that if you guys do have a really high damage dealer that is able to deal a lot of damage like Tartan or Rai or someone like that, then you guys can just put in one of those DPSs, one tank, two healers or something like that, and then put in a bunch of tactics, and you'll be able to kind of just speed run through all the way up to around difficulty B. All right, because of the fact that they're, the power level of these bosses are not going to be super high. If your account is already like at a point where you have all of level 12 treasures and things like that, then just kind of speed run it with the DPSs. But these guys are going to be more for the players who might have a little bit of harder time, and need a specific team that might work out in order to, deal with the bosses, take advantage of the vulnerability and things like that. So let's go over the Sugar Swan again. Sugar Swan is going to have this increased own damage resist as a passive, which means that the HP is going to be low, but the damage that they're going to take is a lot less. All right, so let's go over the team real quick, and it is going to be something like this for me, where I am using Tartan again. We're using Wildberry for the extra damage resist, and then we have Snapdragon for the healing and for the debuff resist and damage resist for our team. We have Rockstar for the crit as well as healing, and we have Twizzly for the zap. Alright, so this is going to be a team that you guys are able to use. If you have Shining Glitter, then I recommend you guys replace Tartan with Shining Glitter, and you should be able to do it that way. You can also replace someone like Snapdragon for another DPS or something like that as well. But this is going to be a team. Toppings are going to be 5 solid almond for our Wildberry, 5 of the Swift Chocolate for our Rockstar. We have 5 of the Syrian Raspberry for our Tartan. We have 5 Juicy Apple Jelly for our Twizzly Gummy. And then we have 5 of the Swift Chocolate for Snapdragon. And of course, the treasures are going to be the Whistle as well as the Scroll and the Jelly Wand. And the tactics are going to be right over here. I am using Attack, Crit damage. We have the HP and defense as well. And then we have the Fire type damage for Tartan. And last one is going to be right here. The Cookie damage is bypass 15%. So here we go. Let's go against this boss here with this team. And again, for most players, if your account is like, pretty darn high, then you'll be able to kind of speed run this without having all of these, vulnerabilities, because your cookies will just be able to deal a lot of damage. All right. And you don't necessarily need to take advantage of everything. It does help out in clearing it with more ease, and you don't need to like risk it sometimes. You guys were able to see right there, our damage from Tartan is absolutely insane sometimes here. And boom, we should be able to beat it here. Healing is great from Rockstar as well as Snapdragon. So there you guys go. Now again, if you guys have Shining Glitter, Tartan can be replaced with Shining Glitter to take advantage of the vulnerability a little bit faster. And then I would say, you can replace Rockstar or Snapdragon for another DPS. I guess just replacing Rockstar or Snapdragon for another DPS like Shining Glitter will be actually the better option here. But there you guys go. Tartan absolutely just carrying this with the insane damage. Twizzly, again, is just there for the zap. All right, here we go. And it's going to be stage C-2 this time around with Dark Cacao. Again, Dark Cacao is going to be vulnerable to light, but you don't necessarily need to take advantage of the light damage. It does help out in clearing a little bit faster, I would say, for some players, especially if you guys invested in someone like Madeline and Queen of Man. But if that's not the case, one thing you always have to realize is that you do need pure vanilla. All right, I would say pure vanilla as well as someone like BTS or Snapdragon are going to be your best friend here against Dark Cacao for most players. And I'm sure most of you guys will have at least one Snapdragon by now, hopefully. If you guys don't and you have BTS, you guys can use BTS. If you don't have either one of them, Parfait is also a great option here. And for some of you guys, again, if you guys have Queen of Man and Madeline, you guys can just use these right over here, just like this. These 4 are going to be perfectly fine. You can put in Rockstar in there too if you guys would like to. You can put in Pomegranate. You can even put in Tartan. That is going to be fine too. But in case you guys don't have that, you guys can also just go with the same exact team that we just talked about and we kind of use right here. Except instead of Rockstar, we're going to put in Snapdragon and Pure Vanilla, and we'll put in Tartan once again. And here, I think we can also put in Rye. Rye is perfectly fine here as well. You can put in Squid Ink. And then for this one, I would say Debuff Resist is really good. And then our Fire type damage again. And injury right over here. All right, injury effect minus 15% is going to be really, really important, especially if you guys are dying from the injury. Of course, Pure Vanilla is going to help out, but that, injury tactic is going to be really, really good. And for us, I'm actually going to take advantage of these treasures again. And here are the toppings for the team, guys. 5 solid almond, 5 of the Syrian raspberry, 5 swift chocolate, 5 Syrian raspberry, as well as 5 swift chocolate. Just realize if your cookies are taking a lot of damage, then make sure to put in a little bit of extra, damage resist for your cookies to survive. But again, if you guys are, higher level, then it shouldn't be too much of a problem, especially in C-2 or especially in difficulty C. You don't necessarily need to take advantage of this. Just keep that in mind. All right, here we go. Dark Cacao again. And I'll say for most players, you can just use Pure Vanilla skill or wait until, Dark Cacao uses the injury here soon. Very, very soon here. It's going to come down. The strike should come down anytime right here. And then you can use the healing right there. And you can see that the injury debuff actually weakened a lot here because you actually took advantage of the, the tactic that decreases the injury here. All right, so that's amazing, and you can use Pure Vanilla to get rid of half of the injury that we are taking right there. Pure Vanilla is an amazing healer. Snapdragon debuff resist as well as the extra damage resist, and the shield is also really, really good. And you can see that even without Madeline and Queen of Man, it works out. You can just use a burst, DPS. I would say the most important thing for Dark Cacao in most cases is going to be, without a doubt, Pure Vanilla, and then someone like Snapdragon to heal or, put that consistent damage resist and such to your cookie. All right, and we should be able to do this relatively quickly. And again, if you have Queen of Man and Madeline leveled up, then I recommend to switch out someone like, Rye, as well as, Queen of Man with, or not Queen of Man, Tartan with Queen of Man and Madeline. You can replace, Wallberry for another DPS. So that is perfectly fine. You don't necessarily need to use Queen of Man and Madeline for this particular stage. Of course, because they're vulnerable, it is going to be easier because they'll take more damage from light type enemy. But there you guys go. You can see that Tartan carried. Rye is not bad at all here too. And we also have Wallberry doing decent amount of damage. Healing, Pure Vanilla, and Snapdragon is still really, really good. Alright guys, so now we have C-3, which is going to be Capers. Capers is going to be invulnerable to the taunt as well as the freeze. Alright, so yesterday I shared a team with you guys using someone like Knight as well as Milk. You don't necessarily need to use that team. It is not going to be a requirement. But it is recommended that you guys take advantage of someone like Milk or Knight if you guys can. If you don't have them leveled up, perfectly fine. You can use someone like Wallberry to still tank for your team. Of course, you won't be able to take advantage of the vulnerability from freeze and taunt, but Wallberry helps you guys to survive. All right, and then now I'm gonna put in someone like Tartan. I don't recommend Rye for this particular stage because of the burn damage. And I am going to use Rockstar here as well as Herb. Alright, so I'm going to take advantage of Herb here once again. If we don't have Herb, just use Snapdragon. Snapdragon is perfectly fine. And then the last cookie that I'm actually going to take advantage of is either going to be Sherbet, which is perfectly fine as well. You guys can use Sherbet here instead of Tartan, or you guys can use someone like Vampire. Vampire is actually a really, really good option here as well. If I can even find Vampire on Joy Roll's account here. There he is. All right, so this is the team that I'm going to use here for C-2. Of course, you don't necessarily need to use this exact team. You guys can, again, use the very similar team that I shared with you guys yesterday, except instead of that Milk and Knight, you guys can just use Wallberry in there. And then I would say putting in Vampire is also a really, really good option. All right, and let's put the toppings on. All right, guys, so topping again, Wallberry, 5 of the solid almond, 5 swift chocolate, 5 cinnamon raspberry. And then for herb, we're going to use 5 swift chocolate and then 5 cinnamon raspberry for our vampire. Again, if your cookies are taking a lot of damage, then make sure to put some damage resist. This account is relatively decent, all right? And the promotion and the ascension and the levels are pretty high as well, so that's why I'm using this. And vampire right now, level 15 magic candy. Wallberry has no magic candy, and herb is level 70 as well. But here we go, guys. The tactics are going to be the burn damage here, so I'm actually going to take advantage of the burn damage receive minus 30% right there, because the boss is going to be dealing that. We're going to put healing here as well, and then we'll put in the other tactics here, like these ones. And we will actually get rid of this one and put in the debuff resist, because the burn is a debuff. All right, and here we go. We're gonna put it at 1.2 here. All right, so we're gonna try to use herb skill when these stacks are a little bit high. All right, so you can see right there that 7 stack. We're gonna use herb, get rid of all of that. Right, you don't need to necessarily have herb. You can put in someone like, again, Snapdragon or someone like that to just, put the debuff resist and consistently heal our cookies. Herb just makes it a little bit easier, especially when you guys are versing, the higher level difficulties. Herb will definitely make a difference here. And you guys can see Vampire is just going to do a lot of just burst damage, all right? The Cake Burst is not going to be, vulnerable to the Vampiric Bite itself. But you can see Vampire does a decent amount of damage. We have someone like Wallberry. We have Tartatan. Again, the reason why we're not using someone like, Rye is because Rye will have an insane amount of burn, especially for the lower level players. If the burn stack does, stack up a lot, then it can do a lot of damage. Of course, you guys can still use her, and you can use herb to kind of just purify it. It is up to you. There's a lot of different tactics, but this is one that I wanted to share with you guys. And I would say the burn damage, minus 30% is going to help out a lot as well. All right, guys, and C-4 is going to be a challenge stage. That means that your battle point price is going to increase for your cookies. All right, so here we go. The next one is going to be vulnerable to poison. All right, you guys, I would say if you guys have Prune Juice, which most of you guys should have Prune Juice leveled up if you guys are taking advantage of him inside of the guild boss battle, then just put him in. You don't necessarily need to put in Affogato. You don't need to put in Poison Mushroom. You don't necessarily need to. You don't necessarily need to put in someone like, Licorice either. So the poison just from Prune Juice is pretty much enough. And I would say, just put in someone like, Rye again or Tartatan again. I would say Tartatan is probably the best one too. But the reason why you want to kind of stack them if possible is because from the tactics, you are able to take advantage of the, poison type damage. And everybody that takes advantage of the poison type is going to be able to, take advantage of the 40% rather than you having to spend like 16 points to put both the fire as well as the poison. All right, so that's the thing that really just comes down to the strategy of this thing and using less points. But you guys, for the lower level stages, having a good DPS is going to be the best thing here. So I'm gonna use Rockstar again. I'm gonna use Snapdragon here again. And I am actually going to take advantage of Wallberry again. All right, so this is the team that I'm going to use. Prune Juice is there for the poison damage, and Tartatan is just there to do consistent damage. We have Rockstar and Snapdragon for the healing. Rockstar can be replaced with any other healer as well. Snapdragon again can be replaced with other healers as well. These are the best 2 options I would say right now, especially as an epic class. And we have Wallberry as a great tank. Treasures, I'm going to use the Scroll, Jelly Watch, and the Whistle again. Generic treasures here. And then for the toppings, 5 solid almond, 5 swift chocolate. We're gonna put in 5 swift chocolate for Prune Juice as well. We're gonna put 5 cinnamon raspberry, 5 swift chocolate. As for the tactics, I'm gonna take the poison type attack here, and then I'm actually gonna take the attack crit, and I think those are the 2 that I can take right here, attack and crit. Or actually, we'll just take the crit damage here, and we'll go with that. And we should be able to do this one. All right, let's go. Just keep in mind again, there is a vulnerability or invulnerability that this particular boss does have. So I am gonna wait until he's able to take damage and then start using the skill from Tartatan. All right. The burst damage from Stardust can hurt sometimes, so that's why 2 healer is gonna definitely help out here. Especially if you want to have someone like Cream Puff. Cream Puff also does help out relatively well because of the burst heal. All right, and the invulnerability should come out right there. Yep. And here we go. We're gonna use our skills again here. All right. And Tartatan should be able to just consistently deal damage here. All right. Let's get Prune Juice to poison. Our Tartatan is just gonna shoot out rockets. All right. Here we go. Prune Juice one more time. Okay. The invulnerability came out. So we're gonna wait until that thing gets out, and then we're gonna use Tartatan. I think Stardust did dodge that one right there. All right, kind of annoying, but it's okay. We still have Tartatan to do a lot of damage here. The debuff resist from our Snapdragon does help out against this boss too because of the sleep that will happen. All right, so just keep that in mind. That's the reason why someone like BTS and Snapdragon is going to still be really, really good for a lot of these boss stages that we have, new events, because of the debuff resist and because they are not targeted, all right, and they don't take damage from the boss, all right? And here we go. With about 1 minute remaining, we should be able to beat it. Oh, there was an invulnerability coming out. But here we go. We should be able to finish it up here. There you guys go. So Tartatan, still a really, really good option. Of course, if you guys are able to use someone like Affogato, you have Affogato leveled up, Poison Mushroom leveled up, Licorice leveled up. All great options. You don't need to, worry about Tartatan trying to, damage the boss. You can just have those cookies like with the poison damage, just deal consistent poison damage, and you are able to increase all of their attacks by just one tactic. So that is an option. But there you guys go. Prune Juice, and then Tartatan with Wildberry, healing from Rockstar, and Snapdragon. Amazing as always. All right, guys, so we're now in C-5 here, and the silence comes out again. So for this one in particular, again, the boss is going to take more damage from crit damage. All right, so I want to use someone like Rockstar again. Rockstar is going to increase that crit. And then we're actually going to take advantage of Cream Unicorn here. You don't need to. Again, you can just put in someone like Snapdragon. That is perfectly fine. And then for the treasure, I actually am going to take advantage of the scythe here in order to increase the overall crit of our cookies. So for this one in particular, you want the crit percentage, crit damage for the tactics. And then since we do have Ra and Tartatan leveled up, we're gonna go and use the fire type. And right here, I think from here we'll just go with the attack speed, extra healing, and then the attack speed. Attack here. Actually, we'll just get rid of the debuff resist and go with the attack here. And for the toppings, 5 solid almond, 5 swift chocolate, 5 of the Syrian raspberry, 5 Syrian raspberry, as well as 5 of the swift chocolate here. Double healer, double DPS, and a tank here. All right, let's go, guys. So again, the scythe can be replaced with whistle too if you guys need the extra damage resist. And again, Cream Puff is also a good option here. I'll just keep that in mind. But you guys can see the amount of crit percentage from Rockstar as well as the scythe and from our buffs is amazing. You guys were able to see the clutch heal from our Cream Unicorn coming through and also silencing the boss here. All right, so stunned, and we should be able to take advantage of the damage here. And boom, and it should be over. All right, so the boss does a lot of damage, so just keep that in mind. Make sure to try to time Cream Unicorn skill if possible. But right there, Wildberry doing a lot of damage. We have Tartatan still carrying it, and Ra as well right there. Alright guys, so now we are on C-6, and this one is going to be another challenge stage. And against the Chocoberry Princess, the vulnerability is going to be against stun. So you want to hurry up and stun this boss as much as possible. Alright, so there are a couple cookies that come into mind, but it is going to be a little bit difficulty because of the the increase in the points. So you have Cotton, you have Wildberry, as well as Brood. Another one is going to be Werewolf or someone like Pinecone. So you guys can take either one of them. I'll say taking Werewolf if you guys have the Magic Candy is a better option than taking Pinecone, because Pinecone can get pretty squishy. So I'm going to use this right over here with Rockstar. And the treasures are going to be the Enchanted Robe, as well as the Scroll and the Jelly Watch, because these three are relatively tanky. Alright, and you just want to take advantage of the attack speed buff. Alright guys, so the toppings are going to be 5 of the Syrian Raspberry here. Werewolf and the Brute are taking the Enchanted Robe here. And of course, you guys can use a full solid almond if your cookies are taking a lot of damage. 5 of the solid almond, 5 of the solid almond. We have 5 of the Swift Chocolate and 5 of the Swift Chocolate here. Make sure to put in damage resist if you guys need them. And for the tactics, I would say attack speed, very important here. Again, we'll take the attack here. We'll take another attack speed buff here as well. And last one, I would say, because we have 7 points left, I'll take the healing here, so we can keep our cookies alive a little bit longer. But here we go. And we're going to use Brute here quickly to stun the Choco Werehound. Alright, the bar is just going to dramatically increase here, and then we're just going to constantly stun the boss here. Alright, so the stun does not come until you fill up that bar, alright? Keep in mind, guys. And the reason why it is important to fill up that bar as soon as possible and take advantage of it as much as possible is because this pink bar is going to decrease this red bar, alright, of the Choco Werehound or any of the bosses, which is going to actually decrease the amount of damage. Alright, some of these bosses are going to be able to take from their like super move, which was like that one right there, that burst damage right there. Alright, if that red bar fills up even more than what it is, then it sometimes can one-shot your cookies. Alright, so there you guys go. The stun comp right there with Content, as well as Werewolf, Wallberry, and Brute. You don't necessarily even need Rockstar. You can put in Pinecone and just DPS the Brute, and there you guys go. The DPS from these 4 are actually crazy, and the healing. Alright guys, last one here, and it is going to against the Royal Gardener, and we have the Gardener, which is going to reflect the damage back to the attackers. We have the Poison, as well as the Vampiric Bite. Defense reduction. This boss does a ton of debuffs onto our cookies, but the most important thing is the damage reflection, I would say. But out of the recommendation, I'm actually going to take the our Rye here. We're going to take Wallberry. I'm going to actually take also Rockstar, just like always here, or I can take Snapdragon. That's perfectly fine. You guys can also take Herb to get rid of the debuffs if you guys would like to do that as well. I'm going to just take Snapdragon, and actually going to just, use that team here, all right? Because our cookies are relatively strong, all right? And for the tactics, I'm actually going to just use the tactics to kind of carry us here. Fire type damage, we're going to do the damage reflection, and we will take the Vampiric Bite here. We're going to take healing, we're going to take debuff resist, attack speed, attack, all of these stuff here, and I think we should be good. All right, we can also take this one because we do have the extra 5 points here. All right, and there you go. Let's get into it. The toppings again is going to be same: 5 solid almond, 5 of the Swift Chocolate, 5 Syrian Raspberry, as well as 5 Swift Chocolate. Let's go. Okay, so the injury one, I wouldn't necessarily recommend you guys take it if your cookies are, low in damage resist, or they're not super powerful or anything like that. Then it might be a better option to not take it, because it does decrease your max HP by quite a bit, right? But for this one, I am going to take it because I had that spare 5 points. All right, and we have relatively good healing here from Snapdragon as well as Rockstar. Rye definitely taking advantage of the burn and the fire type damage as well here. All right, we do see the Vampiric Bite, but we have the debuff resist from our Snapdragon, consistent healing, as well as the debuff resist from the tactics. All right, if Tartatan was here, there's a pretty high chance that Tartatan would have died from the damage reflection here, but because Rye does take damage reflection from each of the shots rather than a burst shot, right? It's consistently getting damage reflect for every little shot that she does, so she has a little bit of time for us to heal that amount of damage she's taking back from the reflection. All right, so that's the reason why Rye is a little bit of a better option here, in my opinion, than someone like Tartatan. You guys can also use Capsaicin. Capsaicin's fine. Pataya is also an option, but Pataya does take a lot of points, so just keep that in mind. Rye doesn't necessarily need to have the magic candy either, guys. It definitely does help out, but it's not like super required up until, like, I would say stage B, all right, or difficulty B. But there you guys go. C-7 is cleared once again. And that is going to be the wrap up for this video for difficulty C using Joy Rules account. So, some of the cookies are not super high in promotion either. They're not all leveled up to level 75 either for some of them. Like Pinecone, as well as someone like, you saw Twizzly at level 50. Herb was level 70 and stuff like that. So I hope you guys found this video helpful for difficulty C run through. You guys just keep in mind, these are recommendations. It's not the exact same team that you guys need to use. You might not have some of them leveled up. So if you guys have any comments, questions, leave it down in the comments below, and I'll try to get back to you guys as soon as possible. I will also put the difficulty B run through as well. Once again, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys all on the next one.